Okay, so I've got the watch back from the Rolex service centre in London. If you watch my previous video, you'll know that it wasn't maintaining its power reserve. So just a little bit of backstory. I bought the watch only about a couple of weeks ago. It had literally just been serviced by Rolex a week prior to me picking it up. So I do have the 2-year Rolex warranty with the card that you scan and all that type of good stuff. Thankfully, I do, because when I got the watch, it wasn't holding its power reserve. The first day, I wound it 20 times, wore it during the day, and it died at about 12 o'clock. On the second day, I wound it 40 times, wore it during the day, and again, it died about 12 o'clock at night, again, 1 o'clock at night. So there was something not quite right with the movement. As well as that, the finishing on the case just wasn't what you'd expect from a watch that's just come back from Rolex. The top of the lugs, it wasn't as fine as it is now, and I'll show you that in a moment. There were no chamfers on the lugs, which is one of the main reasons to buy a 5-digit watch from Rolex, in my view, because they got rid of the chamfers on the later models. And I think they're such small chamfers, but they make a massive difference to the case, and I'll kind of go into that when I do my more in-depth review. And also, just around the edge of the bezel, when you shone a light on it, it's very difficult to describe because I don't really understand the right technical terms for it, but it looked a little bit off around where the bezel meets the glass. The crystal, sorry. I don't know what was off about it, but it wasn't that great. It's a brand new bracelet, so I had no concerns about the bracelet. So I called up St James's Place, which is the Rolex service centre in London. Luckily, it's only half an hour from my place of work. And I dropped off the watch with them, primarily for the problem with the movement. But I did say, can they have a look at the case finishing as well? When they took the watch in, the service chap that I spoke to did say, this isn't what they would expect from a watch that's been serviced by Rolex. So they would want to refinish the case and also fix the movement while it's there. That works for me because I want a watch that looks how it should, and it was disappointing when I picked up the watch that the finishing wasn't that good, as I've already discussed. A bit weirdly, they said that you have to drop the watch off and then they can post it back to you, but they'd rather not because of the value of the watches. But with Zenith, I spoke with Stuart Law from the LVMH service centre in the UK. They sent me the detail, like the packaging information, literally the next day. I posted my watch and then it was sent back to me. No problem at all. But with this, I did actually have to go and visit the service centre, but they did say they would post it back to me if I wasn't able to come and get it. Luckily, I was able to go and get it, so that was helpful. So what happened? I dropped off the watch on the 13th of November, picked it up on the 28th of November. So to be fair, that's actually a pretty quick turnaround. I was told it'd be about 10 working days, and they were pretty much bang on. With that, it was 10 working days. When I went to pick up the watch, obviously he showed me it, and then he actually said they don't like doing it, but they actually had to speak with the individual who actually finished the watch. So the watch was given to a senior case finisher. Hadn't appreciated there were different levels. It makes sense. It looks completely different. You won't be able to pick it up properly on the camera, but I will put a picture in of the lug, how they looked before and how they look now. And you can see they've got that awesome little tiny chamfer that is synonymous with the 5-digit watches. The polished sides are as good as they were before. The polishing was absolutely fine. I had no issues with that. But the finishing on the top of the lugs is a lot finer and now matches what you get on the bracelet. And also one of the lugs was a bit round and now it's nice and sharp. And when I dropped off the watch, I did say to them, I'm assuming there is enough lug width to make this how it should be. And I think, and they were like, yeah, absolutely. More than enough thickness on the lugs to make this how it should be. And I think this watch has now been polished twice, unfortunately. I think the previous owner got it done in order to sell it, which is when I bought it. And then obviously it's been done one more time by myself when I picked it up and took it back. But you can see you've got a lovely chamfer along the top of the lug, and then it gets ever so slightly thicker when it gets to the bottom. And it does make a big difference. It's a really small difference, but it's a big difference, if that makes sense in terms of how it looks. And also, like I say, the kind of shadowing around the edge of the bezel where it meets the crystal is completely gone. And and it looks like a brand new watch. And actually, since they serviced the movement, I'll go into this on my more in-depth review, the crown is a lot nicer to use. It pops more, whereas before it kind of, when you went to undo it, it would kind of it wouldn't pop out like it does when you do it now. So if I undo it now, oh, you can't even see it, but it literally just pops out. And then you can wind it, and it's nice. Whereas before, when I had it, let's see if I can do it. Hang on a sec. Are you ready? There you go. It kind of pops out like that. But before, it was kind of really sluggish and almost like it was stuck. So there was something probably not quite right with the stem as well when it was serviced. I don't know if that was done by the same person that did the finishing or not or whatever. Fundamentally, it was all done by Rolex. So I went in, had a conversation with them, got a receipt, came back out, and when they gave it back to me, it literally just came in his pouch, took my receipt, walked off. Didn't kind of give me any details other than the fact that they said the polishing or the finishing of the case was substandard, and they've actually had to talk with the chap or lady who did it. But now it looks absolutely bang on. I've got I've got a brand new bracelet, a fully finished, looking like new watch head. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I do really, really like it. Obviously, I'm excited to have it back. It's literally my second day. And the service was really good. And I will put in some pictures of the Rolex Service Centre. It was really cool. It was a fantastic looking building. And when you walk in, there are some vertical slits of glass behind the service desk, and you can see the watchmakers working in the background, which was really cool, actually. So a very nice office. I'm just super glad to have it back because I only had it for about, I think it was 3 days before I sent it off. So now I just need to enjoy it. So I'm going to wear it for a couple of weeks and then I'll do an in-depth review. As always, if you have any questions, please just let me know.